Today I'm going to finish shaping the key, and I'm going to fit the key to the bolt so that it becomes a working mechanism. Okay, I'm going to start off by admitting that I screwed up about 20 minutes ago and I forgot to turn on the camera. So what you're looking at here is a mock-up of another key blank, and it's going to turn into my spare key. Now, as you already know, if you've watched other videos of mine, I use chisels for as much as I can. I think historically chisels did 90% of the work that we assume files have done. I don't have any way of backing that up, of course, but it just makes sense to me. Anyone can make a chisel and keep it sharp. Even if it's not made out of great steel and it's not a great chisel, you can just keep sharpening it all day and get the work done. Files, on the other hand, are a very specialized tool. They can't be resharpened. When they get dull, you have to remake them. There's no way of maintaining a file. So I don't believe that they were the tool of choice that we assume they were. I think they were used very sparingly and only when needed. And as you'll see by this demonstration, I can use a pretty crudely made chisel. I mean, there's nothing special about what I'm using. It's just a rough chisel and sharpened very quickly, and I can get the work 90% of the way there and just use a file to do the final finishing of the piece. So I don't think, back in a day when files probably only lasted a few hours before they had to be, thrown out, I don't think they were used to rough out anywhere near the amount of stuff that we think they did. So basically, I just look at this as a very hard piece of wood, and I carve away at it the same way I would if I was carving it out of wood. I don't know whether chiseling something is any faster than filing, or, I really don't care. It's a lot less labor intensive, I can tell you that. And as a craftsman, it's always a lot more rewarding creating chips rather than dust. So here's one side roughed out, and all I need to do now is just take a few seconds with a file to smooth out the chisel marks. And of course I'm going to be repeating the same process to shape the other side of the key bit. To finish shaping the shaft of the key, I'm inserting a nail into the vise, and I'm going to use that as a support for the front of the key while I'm filing. The bow still needs quite a bit of work, but I'm not concerned about that right now. I mostly want to get this key fitted in the lock and get it finished. Now that the key is done, I'm going to be able to use it to figure out what I need to remove from the bolt so that the key will be able to move the bolt from side to side and open and close the lock. So in order for the key to move the bolt, it has to be able to reach up into the very top of that V notch that's cut into the bolt. So I'm going to take a Sharpie and scribe the path that the key is taking from the bottom of the bolt to the top of that V notch. I'm going to remove this material in stages. I'm not going to file right up to the line at this point. I'm just going to remove a little bit, test fit it, estimate where else I need to work, and then file and refit it again. It's a process of trial and error. But it's extremely important not to remove too much material, because if you remove too much material, the bolt is going to stop short of where it needs to. It has to travel all the way through to get the bolt pushed over as far to the left as you need it to. So it's really important to take your time through this whole process and not take off too much material. I often make comparisons between the similarities of woodworking and metalworking, but there is one major difference between metalworking and woodworking, and that is 1/1000th of an inch can make the difference between two pieces fitting together or not. So unlike woodworking, a little tiny bit off of a piece can make a big difference. Once you get the key to work on the left-hand side, you need to do the same thing on the right-hand side by sliding the bolt all the way over to the shoulder on the right and scribing the material that needs to come off of the bolt. Once the key can enter the V-notch of the bolt from both directions, you need to file away the center of the V-notch so that the key can transition from one side to the other. So to do that, you move the bolt into the halfway position between opened and closed, and you scribe around the key in that position. And here again, you work very slowly. You just remove a little bit of material at a time. Try it in the lock, remove a little more material, and just work back and forth until the key can move the bolt smoothly from one side to the other. Hi, I'm Dennis, and thanks for watching. If you're interested in supporting this channel and you can spare $2.50 every month, click on the Patreon logo at the bottom of the screen. I'd really like to be able to expand the content of this channel and turn it into the best resource for anyone wanting to learn traditional crafts, but I need your help to get there. Thank you.